Hello. This video is very late. This is the Hawaii vlog that I've been promising for forever. I know I'm very behind on content and stuff. But please know that it is happening. Things are happening behind the scenes. I'm finally feeling motivated and, all my chakras are aligned, I think. So I think we're good from here on out. But this, and I've also been using scented oils. This is specifically for stress and relaxation. So I think we're on the up and up. But here we are in the Hawaii vlog. This is a bunch of random clips that I took throughout the trip, and I will be popping in to explain pretty much all of them because none of them have any context. Because again, I just took them randomly. So let us begin this journey. I did not film anything on our first flight. So we flew out on the 17th of June. We left between 10 and 11. I know this for sure. On the 16th, on Friday, we were flying out at 9:30 in the morning on the 17th from Minneapolis. Oh, it was so late and I was so dead. I got the front seat and everybody else was yelling at me that I wasn't allowed to complain because I got the best seat in the car. But let me remind you that chronic pain, it doesn't just leave because you get the best seat in the car. It stays with you. It stays. And then we had to pick up Mackenzie in Clear Lake because she was also flying out of Minneapolis. We didn't get to her until 1 in the morning. And she got there at midnight because she lives in Cedar Falls. And when my mom said we were getting ready to leave, Mackenzie left to go to where we were going to meet her. When we say we're getting ready to leave somewhere, it will be at least 30 minutes before we exit the door. If somebody is saying, we're getting ready to leave in our family group chat, you know to bank for, okay, they're not actually leaving for another 30 minutes. She didn't bank for that. So she got there a little bit earlier than us, but that's fine. And Kenzie was at a different terminal because Kenzie was flying separately from us. So with me, it was my mom, my dad, MJ, and Alexis, and me. And then Kenzie flew separately, and then Wayne and Ashley were together, and then Michael and Christopher Michael, and then Ryan and Alex were already in Hawaii because they'd been there the week before. So she flew separately, and she was so scared. And then right before she gets off the bus to go into her terminal to check in, she finds out that she does not have her current ID with her. She doesn't know where it is. She lost it in between Taylor Swift and this day we were flying out. Great. It's Kenzie. It's gonna be okay. We're moving on. Well, she had an expired ID, and she's like, I'm just gonna do this. It's not like they look at it anyway. They just need to make sure you have some form of ID that matches your ticket. So she gets in, and we go to our terminal, which is she was 1, we were 2, something like that. I think we were a little farther down because we were flying on Sun Country. She was flying on Alaskan. She was going to Seattle. We were going to LAX. But it ended up being fine. Okay, do you know why? Because her expired ID worked, which my dad was so annoyed about because she's like, of course the expired ID would work for her. And then she has a meltdown. And the flight person, whoever, at the desk, upgraded her to a better seat. So it was fine for her. For us, so we waited in Minneapolis. We sat down in the terminal by our gate at 4 or something, or it was close. It was between 3 and 4 because remember we got there ridiculously early. I will say, and also it was good we did when we did because security was a little bit took a minute, and as we were getting through security and almost done, the line was just insane because you have all the people coming in for the early red eyes and all that. And so we were like, thank God, because who knows how long that would have taken if we got there any later. So we get there, we get coffee, we get caribou, which is actually very good. Okay, this is my first time on a flight. So I'm just a little bit panicky, but fine. I'm letting all my electronics charge and all this stuff and just chilling and reading books. Alexis was the one who was more freaked out than I was. She was like, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for your first flight? Are you ready? I'm like, shut up. I get it, but shut up. It was bonkers. Love her, but Jesus, it was a lot. And then we get finally to our time. And also, PSA for the TSA. I'm so smart. That was so good. I didn't even, that just came out. That was just a thought that popped into my head. TSA will, when you're in a wheelchair, I don't know how many of you are in a wheelchair, use a wheelchair regularly, or just like know people who might potentially need this little tidbit of information. I'm gonna say it anyway. TSA, you do not have to go through the big giant magnet thing, because obviously you can't stand, and the wheelchair wouldn't fit and it would just like not work because it's an x-ray scan, obviously. So you still put all of your stuff on the little conveyor belt so they can do the x-ray of your stuff, which we'll get to that. But then for me, they open the gate to let me through the line, and then they pull me off to the side and they do a hand pat down, which was fine. And I will say the people who were helping me with security and all that, they were very nice. They were, very gentle, very, they explained to me what they were going to do and how this would work. It was very easy. It was very good. Except when we put all of our stuff through the x-ray thing, right? So we had our suitcases and our carry-ons. It was fine, except for my backpack, of course. They're like, take out any electronics that are bigger than your phone. And I was like, okay, here's my iPad, here's my Nook. And I don't know why, but my bag just kept setting off the sensors. And they're like, yeah, it's fine. Sometimes it'll happen. Like, if the sensor hasn't gone off in a while, sometimes it'll just do it on a random bag. But then, of course, they have to check it. So they're pulling apart this bag that I had meticulously organized to fit 5 books, my iPad, my Nook, my notebook, whatever. They're pulling it apart. I'm like, oh, great. Then they get to my eye mask. And this I can actually show you. So my eye mask is a bit extra because I'm bougie and extra. This is my eye mask, okay? It's a Gravity blankets sleep mask, and it's weighted because Gravity blankets are obviously the weighted blankets. And so this is really nice when I get migraines, or if I'm too stressed. It's really nice. All your pressure points get targeted, okay? But inside, it's got a little zipper seam, and inside is like the pouch with all of like the beads that make it weighted. And they just like, this thing, for some reason, they thought I was like transporting drugs or something. They're like pulling it apart and like looking inside of it and like wiping it down with sanitization. And I'm like, people, if you screw with this is like a $65 eye mask that I got for free. Don't mess with it. They didn't, it was fine, but like still, don't screw with my stuff that I like. When we board the plane, anybody with wheelchairs, older people, whatever ailment that requires special assistance to get on the plane, boards first. And so I used, they call it an aisle chair. An aisle chair it's a chair, not really. It's like a little tiny, almost like a bag cart that they stuck a seat onto with bigger wheels and was like, here's your wheelchair that you're going to take on the plane. Because what they do is you go all the way through the little gate, through the tunnel that takes you to the plane door. And then once you get to the door, that's when you transfer into the aisle chair and you relinquish your wheelchair and pray to God it makes it to your next location. After traveling with my foldable wheelchair, it literally folds in half and then you can pull it like a suitcase. If I brought this, and because it doesn't fold at all, the chair is very stationary. If I had brought it and just left it, because essentially it's just with this chair and with any scooter and whatever, when it's heavy like this, this chair's 300 plus pounds, the TSA people, or the people loading the plane, they'll get like 4 guys and they'll just heave it into the under part of the plane. And I'm just like, God, that'd be like, the other chair's 47 pounds and it folds in half, and you take the joystick off and you take the seat off and you carry that with you, and you just go. And I'm just like, oh my God, imagine. No. And so we get on our flight and it's fine. And honestly, taking off, like, it's a bit bumpy and it's a bit just, hold on to your seat. But once you get in there, it's really just like being in a car, but you're just like thousands of miles away from the road, you know? And I was fine. Alexis had the camera on me literally from when we got on the plane to when we started taxiing to when we actually took off. And I was just like, okay, here we are. It's a plane. We're in the air. We're in the sky. I fell asleep and MJ stole my phone to take pictures when we were like over Utah and everything. And then she took a really stunning picture of everybody sleeping. The gist of this is these next two video clips are when we land in LAX. I didn't film anything when we were in Minneapolis just because I wanted to conserve battery power and we were all just dead. We needed to charge ourselves. So here's Minneapolis. Not Minneapolis, LAX. This is immediately when we landed, and then the next one is actually in the airport.
Terminal 1, Carousel 4, Terminal 1 for any checked luggage.
I'm a little
You're all free to go. Have a great day. Thank you so much for flying with us.
We're all hungry.
Carousel 4, Terminal
Agreed.
1.
And it's 11 a.m. again. Welcome to Los Angeles. It's called the moving sidewalk. We're waiting. We're going slow. Wasn't that just riveting? Totally. Next up are the wonderful pictures that MJ took, and then we're in Hawaii. And most of these first ones are photos because we were on the move a lot, so I just took a lot of photos. Okay, so those are all my photos from the flight to Hawaii, and those are a mixture of both the flight to LA and the flight to Hawaii. I promise my dad enjoys our company and appreciates us as a family. It just doesn't look like that all the time. Next up is we're in Hawaii, and a lot of these again are gonna be photos before we get to the actual videos that I took later on. First few I think are of our hotel, and then I'm getting notifications. People like me. I never have my ringer on, so like when I hear the little chimes that all of my notifications have, it's kind of fun. So you'll get a bunch of photos, and then you'll get fun Hawaii videos, I promise. But again, we got there very late, and the next day we were very active, so it's just a lot of photos. I wish I saved. My brother took a video that first day. We were eating shave ice, really good shave ice, and it's just really funny because my dad walks up and he's like, "You're not stealing any," and he posted that on Instagram, but I did not save it, so that's like the one you won't get that I really like from this day. Anyway. Alright, this is the lobby of our hotel, and this photo actually, that is all open right there. And then all of these photos are from our first full day. So this is all from Sunday. It was very hot that day, so you'll see in the next few photos. Here it is. I got the most obnoxious umbrella you could possibly find on the island to protect me from the sun. And Ryan stole it. Ryan looks photoshopped. I don't know why, but he's there. And look at these gorgeous, the flowers were beautiful. Okay, this is right in front of the resort. There are a few different areas like this, but this is just the one that I liked whenever I wanted to go and see the sunset or just go hang out. The views are gorgeous from here. It's so pretty. Alright, hi, I'm back in person for just a second. The next few clips are on Waikiki Beach. If you don't know, Waikiki Beach is like a really famous, popular neighborhood in Honolulu. It's kind of where all the tourists go to hang out. So we went there a few times. We weren't there all the time because obviously our own resort had beaches and stuff, but Waikiki was like the funnest place ever to hang out. We found this really cool restaurant called the Barefoot Beach Cafe, which is in the Queens Surf Beach area. It's kind of Waikiki itself is a massive beach, and then they split it into different areas so that you kind of know where you are. So that was Queens Surf. It was so fun, and some of the water, especially the second and third, I think, you can see that I'm like on a concrete thing, like kind of deck almost, and like the sand is right there. So they built this raised platform right on the ocean, and the waves just crash up right near you, and like it's a beautiful lunch spot. I highly recommend it if you're going to be in that area. Definitely check out Queen Surf, check out Waikiki in general, and Barefoot Beach Cafe. Waikiki was 10 stars all around. Very good. Except if you don't like pigeons, there are a ton of pigeons there. But you might as well just get used to birds and stuff in general, because pigeons and chickens and roosters, like holy cow, they're just everywhere. Okay, next up is Tuesday. So everything you saw was Tuesday afternoon, no, Monday afternoon was Monday. So this is Tuesday that's coming up. Ryan, Alexis, Mackenzie, and Ryan's partner Alex all went skydiving, but it was really fun. I have some videos and pictures of that day. This next video in particular is everybody is in the car, we're driving, and I'll just let the video explain for itself. That was if I could read a letter to heaven, I would tell my mama that I should have been living, and I would kill a story that I really been following, because I really been trying. Be real. Alex just sitting there. Pray to the Lord.
You want to watch something funny? Watch Alexis Monster.
All right, so that is the beforehand of everybody going that is the beforehand of everybody going skydiving. Jeez, can't talk. And so after that, we did what I wanted to do, and we went to the Iolani Palace. The Iolani Palace is the only royal residence on U.S. soil. Before Hawaii became a U.S. state in like 1968. They were like the Republic of Hawaii, and before that in 1898, the Hawaiian monarchy was illegally overthrown and, you know, put on trial for, trumped up charges and whatever. And so we got to tour the palace as it's been restored to what it was before the royal family was overthrown. After that adventure, which was like the highlight of my trip, personally, then we went back to our resort and we attended a luau. which is, you know, traditional in Hawaiian culture. Um, and it was like a buffet style luau, and you could like eat as much as you wanted. I only had one plate full. It was really good, but there was a lot of food there. So the next couple clips are from the luau. So enjoy some traditional Hawaiian culture, music, dance styles. Some of these dances are also from different islands in the Pacific. So it was really fun that it branched out to like other islands besides the Hawaiian ones. But yeah, overall it was really fun and cool and just interesting and, you know, immersive, and I really enjoyed it.
What's wrong with that?
The Hawaiian. That's what I have.
You guys can have Ryan's
Like pineapple here.
So that he has
It's
so strong compared to mine. And he goes, is it pineapple? You know, it's not. Oh, that's good.
It's kind of like Ryan's.
Alright, so I only put a few clips in for the luau just because I had a lot, and I didn't want to like overload you. But next up, we went to Pearl Harbor on Wednesday, and you'll see mostly just video. Well, no, mostly just photo actually. Just because I don't know, I didn't want to like video. I mean, I know it was for me, but like I just when you're there, it's just so there's a lot of reverence and it's very quiet, and like you almost feel like you just want to like let everybody have their moment. So I didn't want to video anything out of like, you know, respect for anybody who was there, you know, remembering a family member or loved one or whatever. I didn't want to like, you know, catch it in a video and then just, you know, it seemed a little like just take pictures. Because Pearl Harbor, the USS Arizona Memorial, has never been brought up to the surface because of the damage that it sustained on December 7th. And so it's been down there for, you know, 80 years. And that means that the bodies of the soldiers who were on the ship that day are also still down there. And so it is marked as a, you know, cemetery. It's a functional cemetery to this day. And so it's just very quiet. Nobody says hardly anything. I mean, you might whisper things to your group, but it's very quiet. And they specifically tell you that to be quiet, keep your phones off. You know, if you're gonna talk, make sure it's about what you're there for. Don't like plan what you're gonna do next, because obviously it is a cemetery and there might be some people coming there to remember, you know, whatever their tie is to Pearl Harbor. And it was just, I wasn't expecting it to be so heavy as soon as you walk in, especially because you're walking over the ship. That's what the memorial is built over, is the ship. And they actually show you, they have marked out, here's the stern, here's the bow, and you can see they have a diagram of the different parts that are actually still above water. And even if it's not above water, like you can still see some of the stuff underneath, and it's just crazy. And some of the oil, well, actually, yeah, the oil that is in the ship is like still leaking. It's been leaking since 1941. And so that is just, they're working with different conservation efforts to protect the water in the harbor. And what's cool is that where all the original, or the ships, where they were like docked that day, they haven't moved their, like, is it a mooring slip or something? Like wherever they tie off, so that the boat doesn't move when they're in the water. It's all still there exactly how it was on December 7th. And it's just, I would highly recommend going, if you ever get the chance. It's a beautiful place. And I took some pictures of the memorial wall. It's got all the different names of the people who died and like the different branches of whatever military squadron they were in. And it's a great place. And I didn't know this, but so people who were on the Arizona and survived, those who have passed recently, the family, or if they've designated it previously in a will or whatever, their ashes can be interred in the ship. They have an area, there's a little hole that the urns can fit through, and so the soldiers, you'll see that there's like the big wall, and then there's these little marble blocks in front of it, and those are all the soldiers who were on the ship that day but survived, but then were buried there, in recent years whenever they passed. So it's a really, really cool place. All right, so that is Pearl Harbor. Some of those pictures were also from the museum, which is on land. To get to the Arizona, you have to be ferried out there. So we walked through the museums first, and then the memorial is kind of the last thing you do, and then you can walk through Memorial Gardens. But so again, it's a really, really beautiful place. It allows you to reflect on just like a lot of things, and I liked the experience. I hope you all were able to read the sign that talks about when they place the urns in there. I just think it's a really beautiful sentiment that one of the divers has. He says you can kind of, when you place it in through the hole that they use, you can feel it kind of release, and he likes to think that it's the ship, accepting one of its people back. And I really like that as a person who, I believe in some sort of higher power. Don't know. Oh, this fly. Jeez. Thank you for ruining this moment. As a person who believes, in whatever higher power may exist, it's a really nice sentiment to think that, like, they've been returned to, like, where their family is, because when when you serve in the military, like, that's your family too, as much as your, biological family or whatever. So it was really nice. Next up, is actually Thursday. We did a bunch of stuff on Thursday. I went to the aquarium with my mom and my sister and Michael and Christopher Michael, who are our really good friends. And so we went to the Waikiki Aquarium. It is small, but like I feel like they had some cool species, especially their coral exhibit was really, really cool. So even though it was smaller than, you know, SeaWorld or whatever, even, you know, I guess the zoo has a pretty big underwater exhibit, but like it was just, I really enjoyed it. So you'll see some aquarium pictures. You'll also see us at Leonard's Bakery. Malasadas are a big thing on the island. They're these almost like puff desserts, almost like fried angel food cake. And they've got like filling inside of them. Oh my god, they were so good. So we went to Leonard's after we went to the aquarium because it was just us four, nobody else wanted to come, which, you know, fine. And then we went on a dinner cruise on the Star of Honolulu. I would also recommend that as well. It was so much fun and the views were amazing. And then afterwards, oh, that's the wrong arm. Afterwards, I got inked for the first time. You can't really see, it's kind of crooked, but I swear to God, it's straight. It's just because my arm, it's straight when I go like extend it down, but when I go up, it's kind of crooked. But that's what I got. It's a little heart with a little beach scene, and I really enjoyed it. You'll see some pictures of that. So yeah, enjoy Thursday. So the next videos, I'm not in any of them, the next photos and videos, because this was when everybody had Diamond Head. Obviously, wheelchairs are not very great on volcanoes, so I hung out, was I on the beach? I might have been on the beach, while everybody else hiked, and oh my god, and this is when the best video ever to exist in the history of this family, at least. Michael, I'm sorry for including this, but also not really, because it's the best thing ever. And then after this, I think you'll see some of my beach photos. My mom and I rented a cabana the last day while everybody was hiking and on the water, because we just needed to chill on our last full day before we started flying again. So enjoy these photos that are not mine, but I'm giving credit to everybody, whether it was MJ or Ashley or Ryan. No, Ryan didn't go. Whoever, Michael, Christopher, Michael, Alexis, whoever took them. Thank you for allowing me to use them in this video, even though I didn't really explicitly ask until I said thank you in this video. Now I present to you the best video to ever exist.
Okay, right?
And with that, that is the end of our Hawaii vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed coming on the journey through photos and videos. If you want to see more, I did post a lot of stuff on Instagram and Facebook. And now please enjoy this last video clip, even though it is sideways. It's the funniest thing ever.
What's happening?
Also, Alexis, you open that window one more time, I'm gonna reach across and punch you. Don't you do, Mom? I'm tired of seeing this fucking ocean. It's like this wind. You're in the Pacific Ocean, you dumb dumb. How long? Just watch your movie and close the blinds. Shut it. I've been doing this job for 30 fucking years. I've been doing mine for about 21.